I am so delighted to be back here at Leopards, and this is my second venture and experience here. It's such a beautiful historic restaurant. The murals are fabulous. The food is fabulous. I'm back with Gianfranco, and he is an incredible host and a good friend that I've known for a while. And this is the second time that we're at the Leopards. And you know, I love these murals. Tell me the story of the murals.
Well, those murals, they were made in the beginning of the last century, from 1904 to 1914, by Chandler Christie. This building was the Hotel des Artistes, was a hotel for artists. They used to have the rooms upstairs, and here was the canteen. They used to do the shopping, come here, cook, and then bring upstairs. So in the 20s, in the 10s really, they changed and they sold the apartments, so became a residence building. And the guy who took over this place and made the restaurant, the first Café des Artistes, asked the artist to paint something on the wall. And Chandler Christie, that was the most acclaimed artist at the time, took over and paint all these beautiful naked nymph all around. And the story say that he did that to have little food and little money so he can survive. So it took about 10 years to make that. Also, the history say that when they open up, the ladies, they used to come here, start to complain, because they say that the husband or the boyfriend used to look more at the painting or the murals than to them. And there are history that they had to hang tablecloth on top to cover those naked bodies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chasing Wild Ass, oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's a narrative of my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and aromatic recipes, which allows you to dream, discover, and rediscover these great destinations around the world. The title of the book came about while we were chasing jackasses in Kutch Wild Ass Sanctuary in Gujarat, India. And I thought that was a great title for the book. This is food for the soul. Not only does it allow you to dream, it's adventure, it's history, it's culinary, it's culture, with a sense of humor to spice it up. Chasing Wild Ass is a celebration of life. You have to live each day as if it's your last. Remember, my world is your world, so get up, get out, and travel!
Hello, I'm Vito Ignazio. I'm the executive chef of the GlobeTrotter. So now we're going to do the couscous. Couscous, it might sound you not Italian. In Sicily we use couscous, in Sardinia they use fregola. So it's the same family of the couscous. The only thing in Sardinia is a different way to make it. I'm going to have a ragu of couscous, which is a little bit of calamari, scallops, some fish, which is branzino, some shrimps. Shrimps is typical from Sicily. It's a very famous red shrimps. We start with the longer cooking fish, which is the sea bass, the calamari, and the shrimps. I like to add to the fish a little bit of a pesto made with shallots, parsley, and anchovies. Shallots, anchovies, and parsley, which gives you an extra flavor to the ragu. So we let it golden, get some flavor. This doesn't take too much to cook, it only takes 2 or 3 minutes. We don't want to overcook, because when you overcook, you change all the flavor. It's beautiful to taste the fish, very fresh, very simple, very... Okay, so at this point it's almost ready, but just a splash of white wine. You don't want to add too much white wine, because if you add too much white wine, and then it's going to be too bitter. And then we add the lobster, the clams, the mussel, the clams, That's the beauty of it, to be very simple. And when you eat a dish, you know what you're eating. The clams, the mussels, they just open, fresh parsley to give some flavor, some fresh tomato, some fresh olive oil, and a pinch of pepper, which is must go there.
And it's very hot pepper flakes.
It is, that's from Calabria.
Yeah.
The idea to give them three. I guess everyone knows how to cook the couscous, steam it. So it should be very easy to cook the couscous.
It's also Middle Eastern as well as Mediterranean, the couscous.
Yes, that's where it comes from. Just accommodate the rest of the fish on the couscous.
Oh, and that great sauce. Oh my God.
Yeah, believe me, this is one of the. It's like being in Sicily.
You know what's really nice is the bouquet. It's amazing. From where I'm standing, I can also taste it just by the smell.
So now we are doing some rigatoni pasta, which is a dry pasta with some celery, red onions, capers, and fresh tuna. So I will call Genovese with the tuna. Usually in Amalfi, Sorrento coast, Campania, I would say too. Genovese is very popular. They make it with a pig, with a pork, or with a beef, veal, whatever. Every family has a different version to make it, the Genovese. But in this case, we are making it with just tuna, some celery. It's a very typical recipe from north of Italy. It became a very national dish from Italy. Red onions and fresh tuna. As you know, it depends on which brand. The yellowfin tuna comes from Mediterranean, from Europe, and most of it goes to Japan. Even here in New York City, you might find a good quality tuna. Okay, so this now is ready to serve. That's it. So this is very typical in Europe, all over the Mediterranean. It's called rombo in Italy. In America we call it turbo. It's a white fish. It can be 3 to 4 pounds. It can reach even over 10-pound fish, 10 to 15 pounds, depending on the region where it comes from. Usually bigger it is, better it is because it has more flavor. If it's too young, it doesn't have too much flavor. The best way we made olive oil and lemon. I do prefer when the fish is when it's so fresh. You don't want as much. That's my attitude to fish. When it's so fresh, you just want to keep it the natural taste. Just olive oil and lemon, which is very typical of the south of Italy, to keep the flavor very intact.
Chasing wild ass. It's not what you're thinking. It's a narrative of my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and recipes to whet your appetite and allow you to dream, discover, and rediscover these great destinations. The title came about while I was in Kutch Wild Sanctuary chasing jackasses in India. Chasing wild ass is adventure, it's culinary, it's history, and it's a lifestyle with a bit of humor to spice it up. Chasing Wild Ass, the book, is more than 500 pages exploring the world. Remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel.
Another funny story is that when we opened up about 9 years ago, I had a reservation from a lady that was 102 years old. So we prepared a special cake, and I want to give the first table by the door because I thought 102 years, probably she doesn't want to walk, or she can walk, whatever. When she came under the arm of a gentleman, she said, no, I want that table. And she showed me a table in a corner. So, of course, we sit her there. We prepare a special cake with 102 candles, etc. We came everybody outside to sing, even the chef. Then suddenly the gentleman said, do you see that paint, the lady in the corner there? Yes, it's my mother. was the lady 102 years old
Oh my
sitting
God.
there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, was
Oh my
really,
God.
really incredible. Yeah.
Oh, John Haggins, The GlobeTrotter is like no other travel book in the world. When I think of travel, I think of friends from around the world. I've traveled to Malaysia, Thailand, India, everywhere. You're going to absolutely love the book. And the recipes, you will whet your appetite with these incredible aromatic recipes. Remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel. We're back, and I'm talking to Jordan Frosoloni, and he is the chef of this wonderful restaurant, the Leopard. Jordan, tell me about this dish. It looks so exciting, and I understand it's a traditional dish from southern Italy.
Yes.
So tell me about how you go about preparing this.
So it's a typical dish of Catania in Sicily. And so again, we cook pasta for a few minutes less than the cooking time, recommended cooking time. It is then finished with fried roasted eggplants, tomato sauce, and basil, and ricotta salata. So as you would any sort of typical pasta dish, everything goes into a pan and it's coated and seasoned accordingly. And then we take that filling and we put it inside of a bowl that's been encased with this sliced eggplant. So the sliced eggplant is sliced thinly and then roasted, so it becomes just a little bit more pliable. And then we layer the bowl with all of the, and shingle the eggplant all on top of it, and then put the pasta inside and then fold it over and then just bake it in the oven.
And on top, do you also put the eggplant, which would be the bottom here? when you
Yes,
take out the
exactly.
pie?
So it has, exactly. So you, for
like a pie.
Exactly, precisely what it is. So for the most part, once you shingle the eggplant slices, they usually fold on top of each other. But if you need to put a few additional pieces on top to close the bottom of what will actually essentially be the bottom of the timbalo, that's what we do. And then you flip it over, and then you have the top.
So the timbali is like a pie, actually, in a sense, except it's pasta.
Yeah, in a sense that is correct.
That's what's so great. You're always introduced to different kinds of food, no matter where you go. And always, like, this is a tradition from the past in Italy and Sicily, and I think that I was in Sicily not too long. I didn't see the timbali.
Okay.
But this is great. I mean, I really love the whole idea of you being the chef here in this wonderful restaurant, which has
Thank
so
you.
much history.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
amazing.
the Leopards is just an amazing place to come. And what's incredible is it doesn't have that many tables, you know, so it's an intimate environment, which
Sure
I think
is.
is terrific.
Yeah, and very unique to New York. I mean, there's no place like this, not only in New York, but in the world. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you think of Des Artistes and the Leopards, it's just synonymous.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful place to come and certainly to have the great food from southern Italy.
Yes.
How long have you been here?
So I started just a few months ago, in the beginning of 2020, but Gianfranco and Paola and Vito and I have been talking about this project and working together for months before that.
How
So it
fantastic.
finally came to fruition at the beginning of this year.
Well, that should be very exciting.
It's
And you have big
beyond
crowds coming
exciting.
in from the theater, from Lincoln Center.
Yeah, we see a lot of crowd definitely here in the neighborhood exploring all of the cultural aspects of the Upper West Side of New York.
Well, this is a cultural experience, just looking at the murals,
Indeed.
you know, which go back to the 20s, I
20s,
think.
yeah. the 19-
Jordan, how would you serve the timbales?
So we're approaching it in more of a family style manner. So this will probably be a dish that's offered for the table. And so you'll receive the entire timbalo, and we'll take the timbalo and we'll cut it into the appropriate size portion.
That's very large.
Yes. But it's probably deceptively large, but this is probably, like a half order of a pasta that we serve here at the
Wow.
Leopard. So we'll finish it with some additional tomato sauce. Finally, with additional grated ricotta salata. There you are, my friend.
Oh my God. Jordan, tell me about the new menu that you have.
So in this next few weeks, primarily focusing on the spring, so probably the third week of March or so, we'll start to release our new menu that's focusing not only on spring and the season that kind of dictates how what food we're going to be preparing, but then also to a certain extent kind of revitalize and and kind of renew and refresh the food that has been at the Leopard up until this point. A modern approach, but with very, very, very strict appreciation for tradition and for the culture and the history, and really try to embody the spirit of the Italian cooking.
And you do seasonal dishes, so therefore each season you have the menu changes?
Yeah, I would say that the menu will change, not a major overhaul every season, but within the year, a few times a year, certain products are no longer available. So at that point, it'll dictate to us that we can't have that on the menu. So that's where we'll decide, and when we decide to start to make some changes. In Italy, if the product isn't the best or coming as from a local source or really part of the landscape, then it doesn't really make sense. So again, going back to the tradition and appreciation for that sort of approach to cooking is what this menu will definitely be about, and finding the best ingredients that we can, not only from Italy and cultivating relationships with farmers from Italy and artisanal producers from Italy, but also with those same sort of that same sort of approach to working with local farmers here in New York or Pennsylvania, anywhere in the Northeast.
It's all local.
Yeah, we try to. I mean, there's obviously certain things that at certain times of the year you'll never be able to get locally because we're in New York and the growing season in the Northeast.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
What about customers' favorites? Like if you find that something is going very, very well, everybody.
I think you got to keep with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this is. I don't want to say this is the relationship with the guest and a restaurant and a business. We're here to be hospitable and try to accommodate to the best of our abilities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what we'll do.
Well, I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. Look forward for you guys eating all this food.
I can't wait. Now talk about some of the other dishes, by the way. The salad, as a matter of fact.
So we're working on a spring salad with, spring we'll start to see a lot more lettuces. So a very simple spring salad with some share cheese from Piemonte and some prosciutto from Parma. And it's just a very simple, light red wine vinegar dressing. So really, again, highlighting the ingredients. And finding
what kind
the best
of lettuce
vinegars.
do you use, by the way?
So we're using some chicories at the moment. We're using some baby romaine and some Lola Rosa and some baby kale and some arugula. So all of those lettuces are what are currently available. So we'll, again, once some chicories will go away because the season for them, and then we'll just replace that with other ingredient lettuces that are available. We're working on a gnocchi alla romana dish, which is one of my favorite dishes in all of Italian cuisine. It's a baked semolina pasta. So we cook the semolina flour in some milk and some cream and a couple eggs and pecorino cheese, and it's baked and it's super simple. It's just a few ingredients, and it's extraordinarily delicious. And
as Gianfranco would say, it's delicious.
Yes, and simple, which is the most important part.
Well, that's what I find with Italian food in general. It's all very simple.
Precisely.
And it's traditional.
Yes.
And that's what really makes, when you find the formula, you just stick with it.
Yeah, as long as and just that's the best part about cooking Italian food, because once you start to deviate from that formula, you know that you're going down the wrong path. So it's the perfect nucleus to always come back to is simplicity and not overthought.
And it's not American Italian, it's really Italian.
Yeah, I mean, the restaurant group in Gianfranco have really brought an authentic Italian experience that is very unique to New York. So I'm proud to be part of it.
That is so fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. Chasing Wild Ass. Oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's all about my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and recipes to whet your appetite and allow you to dream and discover and rediscover these faraway destinations. The title came about while we were in Koch Wild Ass Sanctuary chasing jackasses in Gujarat, India. Chasing Wild Ass is food for the soul. It's adventure, it's history, it's culture, it's culinary, and it's a lifestyle. Chasing Wild Ass will entertain you and massage your soul. It's a celebration of life. You have to live every moment as if it's your last. My world is your world, so remember, get up, get out, and travel!
And also this place has got so much history. Everybody passed by here. Churchill, the King of Spain. We had the 65th birthday for Clinton, you know, and so forth. Really has an incredible story, this restaurant.
It is an incredible place. You know, whenever I mention Des Artistes, the Leopards, everyone gets very excited because they remember the name, you know, and I think that's, you know, it's history, and it's, you know, what's interesting too is that you're in the Lincoln Center area, so you have a lot of people coming in from the opera and so forth. I think the thing is, younger people need to know about the restaurant because it really has not only the history but great food. My God, incredible food from southern Italy, and it's a theme. You know, when you do your restaurants, you come up with a theme, so therefore you have things that you're offering from southern Italy, which I think is fantastic. You're sticking to the authentic quality and food from southern Italy.
Yes, as we said before, our innovation is doing a step back. We searching in our culture, culinary culture, and we trying to bring up a recipe that my grandmother and my grandmother used to make, and of course give that contemporary look and taste to it, using the best product that we can find. Because for us it's very important that not only the dish is delicious, but it's also nutrient, healthy and safe. So we try to educate our guests about the healthiness of the ingredients that we use.
And the good thing is everything is very fresh and it's local.
Correct.
Except the things that you have to get from Italy because you don't have them here, you know.
Yes, correct.
The great thing about your cuisine is the authenticity of it because it's very, well, southern Italy, you know, and you know what I love about my trip to for Sicily and Puglia is the fact that everything was amazing in terms of the food, and had some great wines, by the way. Let's toast to that.
Chin chin to you.
You got to have great wine with great food, and you do pairings, which I think is fantastic.
Correct. Yes. As you know, we spend lots of time and effort and energy to try to find the right products. As we said before, we try to find the local farms and we visit them and we work with them. But for some product, we still prefer to buy from Italy, like the mozzarella, the olive oil. You know, the olive oil was a token, a currency for the Romans. You know, so you know we have such a culture, passion for olive oil. My wife would say that if it wasn't so expensive, she could have a bath in the olive oil. You know? And
then she'd slip out of the house.
And so it's still important that we get the best product. Also in Italy, we know the producer one by one. We know what they do, how they do, and we do believe that each producer has a story to tell us. I find out that the American guests, they like to know about the history behind the product, the wine, etc. If I tell them that that wine comes from the prince in Lange, that the father was dead because they killed him, the revolution, and that they are amazed about that. You know, if I tell them that is the pH is 8.2 and the acidity is 6, they don't care. You know, they want to know the history and the passion behind that. You know.
Passion is so important.
Oh yes.
And Italy has, you know, what I love also about Italy is it's a family, a lot of family businesses, and I think that's important because that's the thing we don't have here. People are just not interested. The younger people don't want to do what their parents did. They want to move on to something else. But there's a culture. It's a whole other wonderful thing, and getting the whole unit together, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the sense of family is still very, very strong in Italy. When I go back to Italy, I see my family that the kids, they go to school, 1 o'clock they get home, everybody sit for lunch, then they go back to school or wherever they go. 9 o'clock everybody sits for dinner, and then they can do whatever they want. But those 2 moments are for the family. Everybody together, everybody saying what they did the day, what they're going to do the next day. Usually at lunch you talk what you're eating for dinner, at dinner what you're going to eat next day for lunch. And but it's a moment that you dedicate to the family.
You know, I think that's one of the most important things that we miss here, of not having, you know, the family, the lineage, you know, in terms of family getting together and being together. I think it's really amazing. I think that's one of the things we really miss here.
Yes.
And we have to think in terms of, Italy as being not only a cultural experience, but a very humane experience. And with its history and its culture and its food. And of course, you bring in some of the best. And how often do you go to Italy?
Before I used to go more often, 3, 4 times, 5 times a year, and now I go once or twice a year. And I divide my time between my family that still live in Naples and between with the providers, the producers, so we go and see them. And we try to discover always something new, or better, more than new, something that we don't have yet here. I do some samples like the puntarella, the chicory salad that 10 years ago nobody knew about that. You know, we finally convinced somebody to bring it over like 5, 6 years ago, and now is a market for that chicory. Actually, they even doing in California, they're trying to produce in California the wild chicory, the puntarella. And like the burrata, the bottarga from Sardinia, the anduia from Calabria, you know, all these items that here are not popular yet, you know, and we bring it over. We convince our importer and distributor to get these items. Of course, you know, they look more at the business side, in the meaning say, oh, but there is no market for that, you know, we're going to lose money.
You're making a market for it.
Exactly, you know, bring it over, let's promote it, and you're going to sell it because they are incredible products.
Oh,
yeah.
Unbelievable. I think the freshness of the food is so amazing.
Yeah.
Your chef prepared some incredible dishes that I've never seen before. And I am just so impressed with your new chef. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And this is going to be a big success here. You know, we're going to get everybody in here and tasting the great food, and also your personality, which is fantastic.
You're very kind. Looking forward to see. Regarding that dish that he prepared, the timballo, if you saw the movie The Leopard, when they have the big feast, everybody is around the table, you can see that dish coming around, you know, and be served to the noble from Sicily of that time. It's a really interesting dish, you know, that, as I said before, we went in our roots, in our culture, culinary culture, and we bring up these dishes. Of course, there is always a twist, you know, better ingredients, better cooking techniques, make it lighter possibly, but the taste, the flavor has to be that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've got Vito also,
Yeah.
and Jordan,
Yeah.
two great chefs. I think you're very lucky, and they're lucky to have you.
I feel very lucky, absolutely, with them and with my wife Paula. I think we have a great team for the next years to come, yes.
She's amazing. You
Yes.
know, she's so honored. You know, she knows every little facet of it, and she keeps you in order.
Yeah, yes.
I think it's great. Well, thank you so much. It was so good to see you again,
Thank you very much.
and I look forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm John Haggins, A Taste of New York. So long for now.
Sempre scalzo intorno io vo, ma di me chi sia più letto sulla terra di